This week on the Comedy-Meteorological Report, we have, as always, Frankie MacDonald, but we also have former Major League Baseball pitcher and television analyst, Mark Grant.
Hopefully I don't choke on popcorn here.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather, whether or not. There it is.
The always busy Frankie MacDonald. He's over there. He's joining us on the podcast, on the radio show tonight. He's got a cell phone in the hand, his other hand talking to people. Everyone wants to talk to Frankie MacDonald, including all of us here at the Comedy-Meteorological Report, the Comedy-Meteorology Show. I'm Joey, only out here in the wilderness of the North Chilcotin Caribou Plateau, running this radio show as you might hear it on CFUR 88.7 FM in Prince George, Saturday mornings 10 a.m. Or maybe you're listening to us in Winnipeg on CKUW Mondays at noon. Welcome, welcome, welcome for all your weather stories across Canada, the world, and more. I'm Joey Only, your host. You can find the video version of this show on my YouTube channel, Joey Only, Caribou Weather Dude. And with us is a panel of comediologists, including head comediologist himself, Frankie MacDonald, plus Brandon Houck, the radio weatherman out in Brooks, Alberta, Imogen Cookie Bailey, she joins us from Victoria, Peter Galanko, always down in Virginia Beach. Yeah, and I think we're going to have some more people show up on the panel as well, so all kinds of weather stuff to talk about. It's been a big week. I mean, hey, it's been kind of nice. That warm spell we had last week in the bush in British Columbia here has helped the snow solidify, and I mean, I've had a terrible bad knee all week, but what's been very forgivable is the fact that I've not been breaking through the snow in snowshoeing and sinking up to my waist all week, so it's been really nice to at least have solid snow to walk on. And yeah, we've been hit by squalls and all kinds of things, man. I just getting my butt kicked out in the bush. And who knows? Yeah, that's my life. We'll talk about that some more as the hour goes on. But first, Frankie MacDonald.
Frankie, the weatherman. Frankie, the weatherman. Who?
Frankie!
Who?
Frankie!
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie!
Sidney, Nova Scotia's own YouTuber, man, extraordinary personality, the weatherman himself. Evening, Frankie. Good to see your happy face.
I'm doing great so far. I have made it. It was snowing out earlier. It's really cold over in my area, Sidney, Nova Scotia right now. So is Halifax. It brings the snow in New York City, driving all the cold air all the way down to South Carolina and things like that. That's going to bring lots of snow, Virginia Beach. That's going to bring lots of cold weather in Georgia with freezing rain, and California's getting a lot of fires. And then it got a lot in the Pacific Northwest is warm air, cold air has come back in your area in the end of January to early February, including Washington, Oregon, and those places.
Yeah, we're looking at plummet down. I don't think we'll see as cold as we did last time, although I think maybe northern BC might, and Brandon Houck just might. What's the temperature been like where you live there, Frankie?
In Sidney, Nova Scotia, temperature is around below -1 degree Celsius as of right now.
So not too bad, eh? So what's going on all over the world, Frankie? Talk to us about the world weather.
In Japan, they're getting really, really cold weather in Japan, Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and places like that.
What about
It's
Russia?
because of La Nina. Then it got really, really hot weather in Australia and New Zealand.
Where else?
And places like Singapore, they're getting a lot of rain, and Indonesia's getting a lot of rain and thunderstorms. Same with Congo, DR Congo, Uganda, Zimbabwe, and Venezuela, Brazil, Peru, Ecuador, and those places down South America. And Argentina had a deadly heat wave earlier this month.
Oh, tell us about that.
It's not frequent. It's climate change happening in the world.
We have someone joining the group right now named Mud. I think he's one of your friends, Frank. You want to introduce us?
Grant.
Hey, Mark Grant.
San Diego, California.
And hello to you, Mark Grant, former Major League Baseball pitcher. Welcome to the show. We'll
Thanks.
there you go, right side up. We're just going through Frankie's world weather right now. Talk to us about Russia, Frankie.
It's getting extremely cold in Siberia right now.
How cold, Frankie, do you know?
Because it's so cold because it's Siberian high. Then and 2 months later, Siberia will be getting major snowstorms in April.
What are they like? They've got to be in the negatives, don't they?
They're around minus -50 degrees Celsius.
Wow. Wow.
And we had some of that right here in British Columbia not that long ago, and it's coming back. Where's the warmest place on Earth right now, Frankie?
Somewhere in Australia and places like that.
I bet. And coldest? Russia, obviously.
It's extremely cold in Russia.
What's going to happen next week in Canada, Frankie? Any big stories?
There's a lot of systems coming into Canada, like over in Falkland Islands. They're bringing a lot of warm weather lately too, and then it's gonna get cold again in July.
Hey, Frankie, any snow or rain on the West Coast coming? San Diego, Los Angeles, California?
Anytime soon, to more rain heading for California in late January to early February.
Oh, good, because we just had some rain down here. It's always good to have some more down here to take care of our drought situation.
Yeah, well, I see that some of the water levels have been coming up in California there. Lake Oroville, I see, is having a little bit of a rebound. So that's really positive news. I mean, we've been watching your water situation down there nervously because, 50 million people rely on scant water resources in California. Hey, Frankie, talk to us about the Hunga-Hapai volcano this week.
It was underwater volcano. Did a lot of erupted. It caused a tidal wave and hit west coast of the United States. Urged people not to go swimming there.
Yeah, we had in BC, we had some tsunami waves. 30 centimeters, I think, was the highest one. So nothing too major. I think down in California, maybe there was more of that. So down in where was it, Peru, Brandon, where someone was killed?
Yeah. Down.
We usually go over to Brandon Houck, the radio weatherman there in Brooks, Alberta. He works 105.7 FM, the country radio station there. Brandon, we had this great talk this weekend, you, myself, Ken Lord, and Cody Lewis Peabody, about the Hunga-Hapai volcano. And do you want to just sort of take us through some of the amazing things that we came across in talking about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The volcano erupted, say, late Friday night our time. And into Saturday morning, the tsunami waves rushed across the Pacific Ocean. And we had some phenomenal stuff occurred with this event, with the potentially very loud sound waves that made their way in towards Alaska. Has got reports of people hearing the sounds of the loud bang, and also in parts of BC. I think some people in BC heard it, and maybe up in Washington State as well. So pretty incredible stuff. And then the shock waves, they went across the globe at least 3 times. And I guess some folks in the Yukon heard it as well. So phenomenal event that occurred. Absolutely concentrated sound waves.
Yeah, and how many lightning strikes? There was something like 400,000 lightning strikes in 3 hours. So that's over 100 lightning strikes a second.
Yeah, absolutely. Unbelievable lightning strikes occurred from the ash cloud of the volcano, because usually you get all the particles, you get all the right ingredients to create lightning. So pretty incredible indeed.
Well, and in that Krakatoa, the son of Krakatoa, when it went off in 2018, it produced like 9 or 10,000. I forget the number. It was incredibly low in comparison. And then even when you showed us that video on Saturday night during our chat, it was just unbelievable. And I had to ask you, that's not sped up, is it? And no, that was real-time lightning strikes. So take us through, for Alberta, our listeners in Winnipeg, and maybe even our listeners for CFUR 88.7 in Prince George, what kind of weather stories we're looking at. Obviously, we got a return to the cold coming. It's been a very warm January in British Columbia, really. But we got a return to the cold coming. Take us through some of that.
Yeah, and I should also mention I guess they're celebrating Rainn Wilson's birthday today. So I guess he's celebrating with his brother's precipitation and drizzle today, just so you know. Okay, so let's get into the weather situation here, because we are anticipating some, earlier this week, we actually had quite a scenario here in Alberta. On Monday, we had at least a 10 to 20 degree temperature change from Monday into Tuesday there, with the very warm air Chinook can start the day. We also had a significant freeze event in the Edmonton area, very icy conditions on Monday. And then afterwards, it warmed up enough that it could be rain. And then by the evening, a cold front came through, knocked the temperature down, and we had blowing snow. We had a lot of snow, and it was just a mess. And that cold front produced snow squalls, frontal snow squalls that rolled their way down the QE2 towards Red Deer. And nobody could see a thing, because you have the very strong wind. Some areas had wind gusts. I believe in the Bazzano area, wind gusts of 107 kilometers an hour Monday night. That was just out here. So the wind was just rocking and rolling all night long. I did not get a wink of sleep at all because of that wind that was just howling there. And we actually kind of missed the snow squalls. We just had maybe at least a centimeter of snow here. Monday night into Tuesday there, but it was just a crazy night, no doubt about that. Then the other situation, as we go into the middle part of this week, we had the cold air mass take over that allowed for the temperatures to drop to the minus 20s, minus 30s, and minus 40s wind chills for Tuesday into Wednesday. So that was quite. And
Okay.
I'll carry on here. As we went into the middle of the week here yesterday, we had warm-up temperatures rebounded quite nicely through the end of this week here with temperatures above the melting point. Everything started melting again. And now we're back into kind of Chinook conditions. We've got another system rolling across the prairies today, actually, which is the 20th of January. And we have some freezing rain causing issues in the Lloydminster area. People are out skating on the roads with their ice skates on and going for a little stroll down the road and down the old country road. That's what's going on in the central parts of Alberta there. And we've got that freezing rain extending to Saskatoon, a blowing snow potential again in Regina and areas across southern Manitoba again for tomorrow. That will be the 21st. So they will be dealing with that, and another cold air mass coming into the eastern prairies through the weekend into early next week. So that will mean minus 30s, minus 40 wind chills returning. However, in Alberta, we're going to miss out on that scenario. Actually, it was warm enough for rain today in the south after minus 40 wind chills yesterday. So unbelievable stuff there. So as we carry on into the next couple of days, we're going to be on the mild side. We kind of cool off a little bit for the Friday. We cool off, we warm up again for Saturday into Sunday. And then next week, we got a chance of snow showers again Monday. And then we kind of bounce around a little bit as we go into next week. And looks like we will see another pattern change for the beginning of February. Still a while away. It looks like they just updated a freezing rain warning in Saskatchewan. So I think they're probably going to extend that into the Regina area there. And then as we, as we go into beginning of February, it looks like a cold air mass will settle in. We're not quite sure how cold it's going to be just yet because it's just too early to get into those kind of dynamics. But yeah, winter is definitely not over yet.
No, it's safe to say that a pattern change is coming and that we can expect some cold. It looks to me so far from like those preliminary images you showed that for northern BC more and the Peace region, but it will affect temperatures down the line, of course. So Brandon hit on it. We do record the show on Thursday night, so it's the 20th right now of January. Listeners on the radio in Prince George, BC will hear it on Saturday, the 22nd, and our great friends in Winnipeg will hear us on the radio on the 24th. So we're taking you through the stories. You know, you can't necessarily use this as a forecast per se. However, tonight, right now, the cold spot in Canada is in Iqaluit, minus 39.5. It's only minus 18.6 in Fort Nelson, British Columbia. So that's nice here. Prince George, looking at, as my things load up. Internet's very slow out here at logging camp, as usual. Prince George, so yes, we've been above seasonal and, 7 degrees on Saturday. Nighttime low of 1. Not very cold. Sunday, 6 degrees, minus 5 at night. Monday, sunny, mix of sun and cloud, minus 13. So we're starting to see a little bit of a drip already. Tuesday, minus 5, minus 11 at night, just to give you an idea, minus 4 Wednesday. So yes, we do see definitely a return back to sort of normal weather. Hey, Brandon, just tell us what you've been doing on the radio station this week before we have a lot of people on the show tonight, so we can't have our extended long weather talk. But what have you been doing this week?
Well, this week I'm holding down the fort as everybody's on holidays, so I get to do everything on the radio over the next week or so. So we're giving away tickets to the Bandits games. They're still Brooks Bandits are still doing it awesome. They did a great story on CTV on them, on TJ Hughes and Zach Bookman. I think TJ Hughes has 45 goals this season and is going for the record, which is 50, or first AJHL player to ever get 50 goals in a season. So that's the potential that could be on the line here as we go through the next couple of weeks here as the season continues. The winning streak is, well, it's now about a 5-game winning streak again, but we lost the second game of the season since the season started back just a few weeks ago there. So we're starting to get the winning streak going again.
You were at 18 wins
we're
at
at 18.
point, and then you lost again. That's the Brooks Bandits. It's a real story going on right now, and you're very lucky being the radio man who gets to work with the Brooks Bandits and seeing this memorable run they're making. I mean, 2 losses all season. I mean, it's unfathomable. It's a very good hockey team you got there. Yeah. Southern Alberta always got good hockey players. Now, we got lots of people on the list already I want to talk to. Of course, Noelle Chaos is just showing up, and there's more people that Frankie's invited who I don't even know, and we'll try to get to them. But because Mark has showed up, and Frankie did say that Mark's coming on the show tonight, so I want to just talk to you first and just give us an idea about what your weather's been like in San Diego lately, and Canadians would like to hear that there's somewhere that's actually nice out.
Well, first of all, Joey, thanks for having me. Frankie as well. Love Canada. I've told Frankie the other day I made many trips to Canada. I played baseball for about 16 years professionally, so part of my minor league days took me up to Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver. I played in the Pioneer League, Great Falls, Montana in 1981 out of high school. So up there in Southern Canada, up in Edmonton and Calgary. So I love it up there. So welcome everybody. But here in Southern California, I'm about 30 miles east of San Diego in a town called Alpine. Right now, 58 degrees. It's clear. That's cold to us, by the way. I just got out of my spa in the backyard, but I was down with Frankie and some other people. I was in our jacuzzi a little bit. So, tomorrow it's going to be a high of about 67. 68, and then in the evenings it gets down to about 44, low 40s. Very clear skies here. It's great because where I live, it's 1,900 feet. So if I go outside, our neighborhood doesn't have any street lights. So you can see the Milky Way and all the stars, and it's like the stars are right on top of you. So it's a pretty good view, but all is well here in Southern California.
Mark Grant, I just have to ask you because I'm pretty sure in the past on an RBI baseball game, I've pitched a game using you. And I was tonight actually watching Ken Burns'
please don't do that, Joe.
I was watching Ken Burns' baseball documentary tonight at the dinner table. So just take us through a little bit of your baseball. I mean, your career. It'd be just interesting to hear a little bit about your insight.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in the Chicagoland area in Illinois, a little town, Joliet, Illinois. It's about 40 miles south of Chicago. And baseball has been a huge part of my life. After high school, I was drafted by the Giants in 1981. Started my professional career at age 17. And then I worked my way up through the classifications. And for people out there who aren't familiar, but there's different classifications underneath the big league team. Rookie ball, A ball, double A, triple A. So I eventually made my way up to the big leagues 1984 with the Giants. And then I got traded to the Padres in 1987, played there for 3 seasons, and then went on to Atlanta, Seattle, Houston Astros, Colorado Rockies. And then I ended up retiring in the mid-90s, and I got into broadcasting. And I've been with the Padres broadcasting on TV ever since 1996. So next season will be my 27th season doing baseball TV for the San Diego Padres. So baseball has been in pretty much my whole life.
That is so cool. I love baseball too, and I was
very lucky
myself, but not to outside of rep ball and where I grew up.
Frankie, right?
Sean, Joey, this is Sean.
Hello, Sean Smith. Where are you from, Sean?
Yo, Frankie, I'm here now.
It's Rob.
Frankie, I'm here now.
What I find funny is the fact that you're genuinely like friends.
Frankie, my name's Rob. I'm a huge fan.
Naked pig.
Some
Yo, Frankie, I'm here.
fans of Frankie.
Friends of Frankie, y'all gotta hold on.
Hi, I'm doing good.
I'm gonna have to ask you guys.
Frankie, can you do it?
Frankie, can you do a tornado siren for my friend Rob? Yeah.
I see those people on my live. I'm so sorry, but Frankie invites them sometimes on my live.
Yeah, why are you wearing a suit, dude?
What's up?
Why are you wearing a suit?
So this,
I'm a weatherman. Why I'm wearing a suit?
This is a radio
He
show.
always wears a suit. He's a professional man.
We have to have some lack of chaos in order for it to be a radio show. But nice to meet you guys, and please do listen. And Mark, I also anytime you want to pop on the show, I'd always love to have baseball people on. I mean, that's awesome. I do want to also shout out Gabriel Berardo quickly, the Rappin Weatherman in Toronto. Gabriel, what's going on in Ontario? You had a crazy snowstorm this week. 40 centimeters, I hear, in some places.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was a one for the books. Actually, it was actually that bad. And well, at first the model said that it was actually going to be a miss, and then of course, throughout the hours, I mean, like you look at even the one of the models showed about like 4 hours outage, showed like a complete like miss, and then of course like as the hours went through, right? So as we of course got into like Sunday like night and everything like that, and models were showing actually even more snow, right? Like models were showing at least 20 inches, like 25, even 30, I guess, inches, like for some like areas. Well, that actually have happened. So yeah, parts of the city got about 55 centimeters of snowfall, drifts up to 60 centimeters. Toronto itself had, I think, well over 30, I think, and parts of that, I think, just north got about like 30. We had about 28 centimeters here, so I mean, it was like a lot of snow over here, and it really kind of mattered on how exactly far, like, you know, how exactly far this band like went, right? So this band just kind of moved into the early morning hours. I was actually up all you know night. I did not sleep that night. I was like up all night watching the radar with of course my weather like friends on a Twitter like space. I think I actually hosted the Twitter space for like 5 or 6 hours long, and I was just like on there, and I was like you know, tired as hell in the morning. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, but it was all worth it because it was a historic storm. I mean, like you have like 50, 60 centimeters in some areas traffic. Well, I mean, look, like there wasn't any traffic because there wasn't really as much cars on the roads, but cars were actually buried in some people's driveways, and you had cars on the street. They were, of course, also, you know, like jammed also too. You had a lot of buses that, of course, weren't really like moving and everything like that. And you had a bunch of people that were like, how much snow have fallen? There was, I think, rates of about 12 centimeters per hour in that exact band. So something a few like inches per hour, right? I'm gonna think that the first, this of course band was moving, I think, from the south, right? So it's moving kind of like a northwest from the south, and it started out in Buffalo, right? So Buffalo got like 25 centimeters in like 2 to 3 hours, and then of course that same exact rates kind of that was actually some of the, of course, some of like the lake effect snow, but it was of course like also a huge band that just moved, of course, north, and it moved also west, and it brought that huge storm for here in the southern parts of our province. It was a big one, man. I was not expecting it. When Frankie said 5 to 15 centimeters, I was like, Frankie, we got 50.
That's crazy. I mean, I was in Ontario in 1999 when the big snowstorm happened. I mean, you probably weren't even born yet, I guess. But I
wasn't born.
And there's like 1.5 meters fell in like 2 days, and you know, it was a joke at the country because Mel last minute called in the army, but literally there was nowhere to move. I mean, like you've seen the kind of snow we get in Wells, enough to take my chimney off my freaking house. You know, like we get snow. I mean, how does that happen? But we don't get that intensity, that rate of snow. So I have to ask you, did you lay down any sweet friggin' rhymes? You got any snow rap for us this week?
Yeah. I actually, of course, actually, yes. Yes, I actually, of course, have one. Just give me a quick second.
So take a minute. I'm going to ask Mark a question because he's our special guest tonight. So Mark, any special memories of playing in Gabriel's in the Greater Toronto area? Any special memories of Toronto?
I love Toronto. In fact, I love going up to Canada so much. I wish Montreal would get another major league team because I had a chance to play up there as a visitor, with the Giants and the Braves and the Padres. I love going to Montreal. But I went to Montreal in 1992 as a Seattle Mariner, and probably my biggest memory of going to Toronto was 2 or 3 years ago when we were traveling, before this COVID pandemic. We were in town, and it was the night that the Raptors, the Raptors, right? The NBA team? Yeah, when Kawhi Leonard hit that shot that bounced around and went in for the victory for when they won their division or the conference, I guess it was. The streets were going nuts. People were going nuts, and I actually was up in my hotel room watching it on TV, and I heard all the commotion outside. So I went down outside and I joined all the people in the streets. We were, high-fiving. I don't even know much about the Toronto Raptors, but I was down there with all the people, and they were having a great time. It was just that was probably one of my memorable about Toronto. But I love the city of Toronto.
Gabriel, you were just losing your mind when the Raptors won, eh?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was like, okay, but look, I wasn't like a huge Raptors fan of the moment because I wasn't actually even watching that game. So I was on a live, right? So then I saw people in the comments saying, "Why aren't you watching the game? What's wrong with you?" I was like, "What? What game?" I didn't even actually know there was a game going on because I didn't watch the Raptors at the moment. So then I was like, I went to kind of check it out. I was like, oh wow. I mean, it's kind of sick. I mean, yeah. So then I just, of course, watched the rest of the series, and of course, that's actually, of course, when I became a huge Raptors fan, actually. And the series was hard to watch because on Game 5 they lost by only 1 point. It was 105-106. I mean, it was on my dad's birthday. So yeah, so we all kind of sat up there and we were there for my dad's birthday, watching the game, and you just hear they had a few seconds to shoot, right? And it was 105, 106, right? So then my dad was like, shoot the ball, just shoot it. And it was, and then Lowry went up for a 3, and then he missed the whole net, and then everybody's like, oh god damn. And then I was really kind of, I wasn't mad, I was just shocked on how there was 15 seconds left or 10 seconds left, and you could have even of course got a 2 point shot. But I mean, the Warriors were really kind of defense was great, right? Because you have to, right? I mean, it's for the series, right? You have to right? I mean, it's 1 point, and you're and they're you're out of the series. So I mean, it was really nuts. At least they of course won. In Game 6. At least that was good.
Lost their mind for the Raptors. When the Jays won in 92, 93, Joe Carter jumping up and down, we lost our minds. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait for what it will be like when the Maple Leafs hoist the Stanley Cup. So what do you got for rap for us, Gabriel?
Doing a little snow rap, maybe? Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a snow rap. And with the mitts, too. Yeah. Y'all already know how much snow fell in the city of Toronto. I mean, a lot of snow all the way up even to Toronto and even up to Hamilton. Now look at all the snow, it be falling and it never be melting throughout the next few days. I mean, we got 40 or 50. Storm Hunter Mark was out there, he was really busy. Nobody told the snow have been falling from the historic storm. I mean, but we could not even use a meter stick because it was more than that, 50, 60 at the highest. And yes, that's not biased, because I'm telling you the weather and the snow, how it's been falling through out the last few days. I mean, look how much snow got laid on the surface of the ground, and you're just talking about the inches per hour. I mean, look, this wasn't no light snow shower. I mean, it was pretty heavy, heavier than it ever been. I mean, if you tried to go outside in the car and you kind of drive, man, you know that the snow will win, and then you're gonna get snowed into your driveway, yeah, snowed into the highway, yeah, snowed into almost everywhere, and your house even snowed in, but it's not like Joey's chimney.
blow up his hose, but it slipped off. I mean, goddamn, that's so weird. Here, I mean, it's kind of different, but the snow's falling at a faster rate, so y'all already know it's gonna fall in those faster rates, and it's gonna fall at a faster pace. I mean, it's like a race, it's talking about 12 centimeters per hour. I mean, it's so cool, but you know what, man? If it's falling, the snow. But y'all already know, and it's been cold lately. I mean, like minus 20s, and yes, I'm laughing, but man, I don't think it's kind of funny because you had it first, and then it came to us, and then the burst of snow, and then I'm like, goddamn, I'm fussing about the snow and the cold. You know what? It gotta leave, man. That's not what I've been told. It's gonna stay over here for the next few weeks, and I'm just thinking of like, when are we gonna get the heat? When are we gonna get the heat and the peak of the heat wave for the summer? You know what, man? All the snow's like, what a bummer to the lover of summer. You know what, man? But I'm kind of mad right now with the snow falling down, and yes, it's getting kind of bad. Looking at it when it's falling down right now with the ground looking at me all over my town. Y'all already know the snowman have been calling for by the weather network, and then the snowfall warnings and the blizzards, cause that's what we seen. Goddamn, I'm like a weather wizard when I spit the rap right now. Yes, you know I never fail, but when the snow is falling right down, yes, you know, man, people be slipping on the trail right down. People be slipping on the trail, the highway everywhere, snowed into your house. Y'all already know, man, you gotta sit in your house and do nothing, sit on the couch and no work or no school. I mean, look, man, goddamn, that's kind of cool, but you know what, man, that's more than cool, because you got a snow day that day, same exact day. Nobody ever went to school. Y'all already know that I'm really gonna sleep right now with a fire rap, gonna literally melt in the snow right now. Gonna go melt in the snow right now. Gonna go melt the snow because the snow is melting, and then the snow squalls moved in through the snow belting, and then you know it started melting. But here was the weather rap for you, and yes, here was the weather storm rap.
He's Gabriel Berardo, the Rappin Weatherman down in Southern Ontario. You're listening to the Comedy-Meteorological Report, the Comedy-Meteorology Show. I'm Joey Only, and you're hearing us on CFUR 88.7 FM in Prince George and CKUW 95.9 FM in Winnipeg, Manitoba. What do you think of that, Frankie? Is that pretty good rap?
Yeah, it's a great rap.
Yeah. I like when he raps. We haven't talked to Imogen.
How was that, Frankie? How was
we
that,
haven't
Frankie?
We haven't talked to Peter. We haven't talked to Noelle. You got a lot of people. We got former Major League Baseball pitcher Mark Grant on with us as well. What a great show we have it so far tonight. Thanks for your hot rap. You're on fire tonight, Gabriel. You're
Thank
ripping.
you. Yeah. I mean, thank you.
You know, and so
Always.
my experience with the snow this week, I was saying at the top of the hour before you got in, was because we had that bit of a warm spell and the snow settled. Then we had that flash freeze at the start of the week again. And finally, us timber cruisers have been running through the bush on top of the snow. And I got a terrible knee pain this week if I wasn't. So to explain, Mark, what I do is I'm working in the logging industry, and I spend a lot of my time I'm in a logging camp right now, and I spend a lot of my time wandering the wilderness alone with GPS and flagging tape and things like that. And guy in my 40s, I don't know what I'm doing, but I was saying to the other guys in the machine today, I was talking to him, and I said, like, a lot of guys who are 43 years old that are, I know that have run machines their whole life. It's like, I grew up on a farm, I can run machines, but my friends who live that lifestyle, they hurt much more than I do. And then meanwhile, because I fight forest fires every summer, I'm finding that spending my winter time wandering in the wilderness like this, 200 kilometers from the nearest grocery store.
Wow.
I love the BC wilderness. Imogen Cookie Bailey, you're down there in Victoria, British Columbia. And tell us about your weather down there this week. And you're dressed as a tiger, as is your cat.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
Yep. Hanging out with my little tiny Tiger King.
Tiger King.
Yep. He's the king of the house, and he's
Your cat always has the best costumes.
He's a good boy. High five. Good boy. Yeah, he will definitely, I'd say he'd drink to that, but he'll have a cookie to that.
He'll have some catnip to that.
He will. I got my green, he's got his.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty overcast all week. Intermittently sunny. We had a couple of clear days last week. This coming week, it's going to be a lot of clouds, a little bit of drizzle, and little hints of sun, just enough that you'll see a few people put their shorts on, and then 20 minutes later, they're sad and going indoors. So our weather is primed for a week of disappointment because there's the hint and the tease of something better, and then it's just gone. That's what this whole island is like. It's beautiful.
I just found the coast so hard to live on. And I mean, I live in a place that has some of the highest snow totals in Canada. But the coast, it would rain and I would just feel like doing drugs and dying.
Yep.
and it would rain for weeks, and I would just get worse. I would just deteriorate emotionally. I haven't asked you though about. So you were taking ground school for. How's your flight classes going? You're done that? How'd it go?
Yep, finished ground school. I've got to get more. I've still got to write the actual exam. Before I write the exam, I want to have a substantial amount of airtime completed before I'm going to write the exam, because that's where you're actually putting into practical application everything that you're doing in school. So if I'm going to be thoroughly confident in what I've learned, I need to be doing it hands-on first. So I'm holding off.
That's awesome.
Yeah, holding off on getting on doing the test, but definitely going to be getting that wrapped up this year. And then I'm just going to be flying around for the fun of it instead of as a learning experience.
I've been asked by the local Royal Canadian Air Cadet Corps squadron in Quesnel to teach meteorology courses. And of course, I was an air cadet at 704 Squadron at CFB Trenton, and I did fly. And I also took survival instructor courses. So I'll probably be making videos for this air cadet group. So I just wanted to ask you your insights from the meteorology segment of ground school.
Yeah. It's this is a bad place to live if you're learning to fly. I can tell you that much. There's a lot of unpredictable stuff. The place that I actually go where I take my lessons, it's the Cowichan Valley. So as you're aware, there's a lot of invisible weather that will affect things if you're in a valley. And then when you factor in that it's this crazy, erratic, bipolar kind of moody, crazy ex-girlfriend type of weather, one moment it's clear and brisk and beautiful, and then all of a sudden there's just heavy, intense rain clouds out of nowhere. You get hit with like a weird little thermal pocket that'll launch your craft out to space. It's horrible. But it will make you a damn good pilot, though. That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely get different. I mean, when I took hang gliding lessons in Alberta, you have such different quality of conditions. And in Alberta, when you want to fly, it's very easy to fly sometimes, as Brandon might tell you. I mean, you watch the golden eagles soaring effortlessly for hours, and then they come down to the next bench, and then they soar up there, and they'll travel from Calgary to Lethbridge in a matter of a couple hours doing that. It's amazing catching those thermals.
Yeah. Here we can literally watch like seagulls and eagles and all these giant birds. They're just cruising around. They're doing nice little gentle circles, and all of a sudden they're slingshot. And it's like, and on the ground, there's a mild breeze, and that's it. And you're watching giant predatory birds. Like I can literally watch eagles flying around in an area, and then they're just suddenly gone. And you look, and they're a million miles that way because some air current or thermal pocket just launched them into nothing. These have got to be the most terrifying birds because that's what they do for fun. They're comfortable with it. That is scary to me. But that's what this area does to you. It makes you mental and fearless. So
there's definitely a few people that I know who have been dive bombed by crows and other birds that are just like, well, I caught a good air current, and then I thought I should just dive bomb on a person.
Yeah.
And it's always so funny to watch.
I do recall walking up a street in Vancouver and hearing a bunch of crows cawing at something, and because I'm a country boy, I knew they were cawing at something. I was like, I gotta find out. So like end up, sneaking into someone's backyard to find this raccoon who's cowering as the crows are just torturing him everywhere he goes that day. Speaking of Vancouver, Noelle Chaos, tell us about your rainy, crappy Vancouver weather.
So I don't have a huge weather report this week because I have the plague and I'm in isolation, so I haven't actually been outside since Tuesday. But my observations tell me that yesterday we had a pretty heavy rainstorm, and it's been unseasonably warm the last week and a half. I think it's currently 9 degrees right now, and I think we've probably topped double digits like within the last 5 days. I think it was 10 or 11 a couple of days. And today has been pretty dry out, and I've been looking at the weather report going forward, and winter's not over. Next week, the cold and the rain and possibly snow all returns next week for the beginning of February. And yeah.
We're diving back to winter. I want to ask Mark Grant, because he played baseball in Seattle. Maybe you have some experience going to British Columbia, but also that West Coast weather.
Yes, I loved Seattle. Although I was there in the summertime, and the summers, as we all know, if you've been to Seattle, can be absolutely beautiful. The downfall back then in 1992 when I was in Seattle was that we played inside the Kingdom. So it would be a beautiful day outside. The way the Kingdom was like playing in a dungeon, dark, musty, just horrible place to play. So I would be outside enjoying downtown Seattle, walking around, blue skies, partly cloudy, just gorgeous, having to go inside the Kingdom. But I did go up to, I mentioned this before to Frankie as well. I played in Vancouver at Nat Bailey Stadium, Vancouver Canadians. They used to be the AAA team for the Milwaukee Brewers back in the day. And I love Vancouver was just absolutely gorgeous. Sometimes, you get some clouds and stuff like that. But I was always wondering, being close to the ocean and stuff, how does the salt water like affect not only your body, but people that live close, like it could affect your house too. Like, right. Like the salt, because I know here in Southern California, if you live near the beach, that salt water and that salt air can really do havoc to your house. Like, hinges and hardware and stuff like that just eat away. I was just wondering if it's the same like that up north.
Here in Vancouver, because it's very moist and it rains basically for about 5 months out of the year, we get a lot of mold here. There's a lot of older buildings that get mold because like the moisture just seeps into everything, and so eventually, inevitably, you will find mold almost everywhere. There are a lot of things that you can do to like prevent it, like dehumidifiers are big with people that have like RVs and campers and trailers and like I guess what you would call manufactured homes down there. Those people all have dehumidifiers. But yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, the other thing I've seen is it takes its toll on vehicles as well. I know when we get the cold snaps, we've definitely seen like cracked windshields, and like the salt tends to eat away at things more. And during the cold snap, we also had a lot of burst pipes because our infrastructure isn't designed for like the extremes back and forth and the melt freezes and all of that.
Yeah, the infrastructure.
That makes sense.
The infrastructure in this area is not designed for the actual environment. It's really out of step. It's absolutely awful. We have a lot of those problems here as well. The infrastructure is not designed for the actual environment or the population.
Winter happens every year.
Yep.
People in Vancouver were saying, like, it must be cold living up in the mountains way up north there, Joey, where it snows more than anything. I says, yeah, but it's true. But I'm sitting in your house freezing because you can't afford heat and your house is not insulated. It's like, it's basically built for somewhere like Florida. And so everyone in Vancouver is freezing in their homes. Whereas I got a wood stove, and sure, I live in the mountains, and there's a lot of snow, but it's really nice in the house. It's quite enjoyable. When we haven't talked to Peter Galanko yet, I realize I see him at the bottom. And Patient Pete. Peter Galanko, are you out there, buddy?
Patient Pete.
I'm here, yes, sir.
Haven't heard from you all. How's Virginia Beach?
Virginia Beach has been all right this week, but as Frankie mentioned earlier, snow is headed our way, and looking to start tomorrow. Yeah. So from what I hear, anywhere from 5 to 8 inches in Virginia Beach is what's being forecasted right now. So give or take 5 inches, and we'll see. But it is quite the winter storm for our area, though. Weather was all right today. I was out and about, but it is about to shift very quickly.
Yeah, it's you don't get a lot of snow days in Virginia Beach. In fact, most places named Beach don't get snow days much. It's like it's like in
what about that guy Ernot in Kazakhstan and Michael Sanikoff? They're doing great. How's Michael doing?
Michael's doing good. I have not talked to Ernot, and I'm sure
You got some rivalry and Kazakhstan's over. They're having a conflict. I was talking to Ernot this morning. Kazakhstan's having a conflict between Russia and Kazakhstan. They got Russian troops. They had civil war going on in Kazakhstan.
I didn't hear about the Kazakhstan situation. Though last time I spoke with Michael, he was doing all right. I know
they got Russian troops near the Ukraine border now.
The Russian troops have been posted there for a while, and there is there's 2 different factions within Ukraine that are paramilitary that are one of those factions are funded by the Russian government, in addition to the Russian and Ukrainian actual militaries. So there's a lot going on in those aspects there. Hopefully it chills out. I figured the other year that it was just over the Crimea Peninsula because it's the trade route there. I figured Russia just wanted to control that area, but they might try to annex the Ukraine, similar to China's policy with Hong Kong and now Taiwan and previously Tibet. So we'll see what happens there. But for the time being, Michael seems all right, and I'm sure they have some pretty cold weather out there. But hoping to visit Eastern Europe this year, so hopefully everything calms down.
Must be scary having that many Russians on your border. I mean, we can kind of relate because we got Americans on ours, but
they're not interested in us.
I know. They're not interested at all in us. I don't think they even care about us.
Yeah, Michael's been looking he's been looking into places to work outside of Ukraine, though that's even without the conflict. That was normal for him. He was working over in Thailand, Singapore, Shenzhen, Shanghai, and then he's talking about Saudi Arabia next, possibly. We're getting some office space out in Shanghai is something that he wanted to work on with me. So hopefully he'll get out of there if things start going too crazy. But and I'm pretty sure he I don't know if they all have to go through boot camps or like Israeli citizens do, but I think he served in some capacity there and or went to some sort of military school when he was younger. But I don't think he's looking to be involved in the conflict.
Yeah.
Peter Galanko in Virginia Beach. This is the Comedy-Meteorological Report. I'm Joey Only here in the Chilcotin Plateau in British Columbia, making your show. You're listening to us on CFUR 88.7 FM in Prince George, CKUW 95.9 FM in Winnipeg. I say that a couple times an hour because it's like the law, I think. And pretty good show. We've got, of course, the fabulous Frankie MacDonald. We had some great rap from Gabriel Berardo. We've got baseball. Former baseball player Mark Grant with us as well. So, Mark, you were on that Seattle Mariners team of 1992. Did you make the Ken Griffey Jr.? Were you on the Ken Griffey Jr. baseball game? Or that was the next year, wasn't it? That was a 93.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think so. I was only with the Mariners for 1 year, 92. I played with Junior. Boy, what a great talent!
Ken Griffey Jr.
What a great kid.
The video game was 93.
No, the video game. No, you know what? I've seen the game. I have not played the game, but Junior, obviously one of the best players that ever played the game. Obviously, he's a Hall of Famer and stuff like that. But he was great for the city of Seattle because for all the baseball fans out there, Seattle never really had a lot of success until he came on the scene. And they were pretty much perennial teams that were always in the hunt for making the playoffs. So he was most definitely an impact player.
Well, that next year they had Jay Buhner come up too, I believe, and they got good fast. They got good fast. But I did have that game for Super Nintendo, and it had great music. I must have played 2,000 games as the Blue Jays, of course. Always the Blue Jays.
Speaking of the Blue Jays being good fast, they've got with Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Bichette and their talent up there, man. They're making it exciting in Toronto. They're a fun team to watch.
There's something to be said about getting onto your team the children of former stars, whether that's William Nylander for the Maple Leafs. We see this over and over again though with athletes that their kids end up being as good or sometimes better than their parents, right? So when they first when he was 16 years old and they were talking about signing Vlad, and they showed this video of him down and he was hitting home run after home run after home run in batting practice, and he's 16 years old and just cranking the ball, and I was just like, yes, Vlad Guerrero Jr. And of course the original Vlad Guerrero playing for the Expos, he's just a beauty, right? Like I had Vlad Guerrero baseball cards growing up, and seeing his kid being just that good and probably better than he was, possibly, and of course, Bichette, and they do have a very good team. They got to get some of that pitching going on. They come out of retirement maybe and get in that bullpen.
Well, we all know it. Good pitching beats good hitting. I've always been a proponent of that. And in fact, you know what? They want to get better, so they will not call me. They're trying to get better, not worse. If they had me on the staff, they'd be much worse in that pitching situation. So,
well, better you than me, at least. I don't know if I can throw as hard as I used to throw. Just not there anymore. Just not there anymore. So that's been a good show.
It's toll on the arm, that's for sure.
Our hour has just gone by so fast, and I look forward to it every week because I basically don't talk to people all week. Like I'm in the bush, and then I go and see my kids, and then I go back to the bush. That's the life I'm living these days. My outlaw country music playing, and in fact, it's so bad. Luckily, the bleeding has kind of stopped. But so earlier, just before showtime, I'm like, I should shave. I look like garbage. And of course, the last time I shaved,
cut yourself here,
and I was bleeding before last, So, but I want to get a good shave. I might as well put a brand new razor on the old Mach 5 here. And of course, then I cut my nose, and I was just gushing about 5 minutes before.
Joey,
Should have put a tourniquet around your neck.
Joey, that is, I think, also why I like to, of course, use a razor to shave. I don't actually use a shaver anymore because shaving is rough on my skin kind of, and it would always get cut. So I use a razor now and I shave it pretty good. It's pretty nice. I mean, it's
You mean an electric razor?
I'm all about
Joey,
that.
that's a huge hack, man.
Yeah.
Joey, that's a huge hack you got working right there.
Well,
oh my gosh!
Part of how I'm sitting, probably. Hey.
No, the hack on your. Did you cut yourself here too?
Yeah, last week. So I basically.
Yeah, that's gnarly. That's gnarly, dude.
I'm losing my ability to take care of myself. I'm becoming an animal quickly after years of hardly seeing humanity.
You'll have to come up with some good stories about how you got them. Like you got attacked by a bear or something.
Yeah.
I don't want to believe that because I'm fearless.
You should see the bear.
Well,
I gotta say, if you're gonna compare yourself to an animal, the nearest one to me is shaking hands for cookies, and he's very well dressed. So,
yeah.
To say that you're turning into an animal isn't context, man.
Everyone who knows me knows I've beaten several bears over the head with chunks of wood, rocks, and things like that over the years. So no one's going to believe that a bear actually got that close to me. I I always
See,
win.
that's why I made that joke because you are the type that
wins.
would get in a fight with a bear.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah.
This is my favorite.
My name is Joey Only. Grr.
That's true.
There,
though.
there's a one of the things behind it is a Gucci Mane album, but actually, I think on this album specifically, there's a lyric that says, "If you see me fight the grizzly bear, you better help the bleeping grizzly bear."
Well, last year on a
Joey's picked fight with picks. Joey has picked fights with bears and won.
the last year we were on the fire in outside Kamloops there at Tremont Creek Fire, and then this other crew they're on their line there and they're hosing away, and then someone's like, "We seen a bear, a little black bear on the line," and then their crew boss is like, "Shut the pumps off." And I was looking at my crew like, why would you do that when you could hammer the thing with an 1.5-inch hose? Like, get out of here, you friggin' animal. But no, they all shut their hose lines down and got in their trucks. And of course, because I work on a crew of all natives, we didn't do that. Anyways, we were out of time. And Frankie MacDonald, how does everyone find you on the internet?
And my Twitter is @FrankieMcD. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Instagram is Frankie McD 1984. My Instagram is Frankie McD 1984. My Twitch is Frankie MacDonald 1984. My TikTok is Frankie MacDonald 1984. My Clapper is Frankie MacDonald 1984. My LinkedIn is Frankie MacDonald. My Snapchat is Frankie and me CDO. And my YouTube channel is Dogs and Wolves.
Right on, Frankie MacDonald, and you can find the video version of this show on my YouTube channel, Joey Only, the Caribou Weather Dude, and of course you can find all those other adventures I speak of, like last month when a big black wolf walked up on me out in the bush. Great video. They're just sitting there. I was angry and wet, and I couldn't. And then I looked over, and I heard a noise, and this big wolf walks out. He looks at me, and he's like, "Holy, where'd you come from?" Right on, buddy. So I talked to him and calmed him down and got a good video. And that's just some of the things you might see on the Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. We'll see you next time, radio listeners. Goodbye for now. Bye now.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather or not. There it is.